Now that we know a little bit more about how our global climate forms over time, let's talk a little more about what causes our climate to change. One of the most important things to know about climate change is the greenhouse effect. Greenhouse gases, like carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere, like how a greenhouse keeps the air warm to promote plant growth. These gases allow sunlight to enter the atmosphere, but intensify its effect on Earth's surface by absorbing and re-emitting infrared radiation, preventing heat from escaping back into space. A gas's capacity to hold onto infrared radiation is called its global warming potential. Now, the greenhouse effect isn't inherently a bad thing. It's actually the reason life has been able to exist so long on Earth in the first place. However, when we disrupt the natural amounts of greenhouse gases by increasing their presence in the atmosphere too quickly, this becomes a huge global problem. In the past, changes in concentrations of these gases came about primarily through natural processes. You may remember learning in school about the carbon cycle, which describes how carbon moves naturally from the atmosphere into plants and animals, into the ground, and eventually back to the atmosphere. This natural cycling of carbon can be categorized as regular CO2, which cycles through Earth's climate system over thousands and millions of years. The carbon cycle has been disrupted naturally in the past. For example, emissions from volcanic eruptions and thawing permafrost have contributed to sudden changes in global temperatures. And it's also theorized that changes in Earth's orbit around the Sun have led to colder regional ocean temperatures, which are more effective at storing atmospheric carbon during Earth's most recent ice age. However, human activities such as burning fossil fuels for energy, deforestation, and improperly disposing of food waste are increasing the concentrations of these greenhouse gases in the atmosphere at a rate never before seen in human history. Unlike regular CO2, we can call this rampant CO2, which human beings have emitted into the atmosphere faster than it otherwise would have naturally. To better demonstrate this sudden change, let's look at this graph of global temperatures. Over the past 500 million years, you can see that global temperatures have changed a lot, ranging from just over 50 degrees all the way up to over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. However, human beings have only been around for the past 200,000 years or so, the very end of this graph. With such a sudden spike in global temperatures over the past 150 years, we are entering into unknown climate territory, pushing the limits of what human beings can survive in. Finally, let's investigate the impacts of climate change. As the Earth's average temperature rises due to increased concentrations of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, the atmosphere changes. These changes increase the likelihood and intensity of certain extreme weather events. Here's how. First, let's talk about heat waves. Increasing global temperatures are leaving many regions around the world prone to heat waves. Climate change's impact on global wind patterns leaves regions that typically do not experience extreme heat vulnerable to extended heat domes, where hot air stays over one area for a long period of time. Another impact is heavy rainfall and flooding. Just like changes in wind patterns can bring extended periods of hot weather, climate change can also lead to longer periods of rainfall or atmospheric rivers. Warmer temperatures lead to increased evaporation, putting more moisture into the atmosphere. When this moisture-laden air meets cold air masses, it can result in more intense rainfall events and a higher risk of flooding. There's also evidence that the warming of sea surface temperatures provides more energy for storms, making hurricanes and cyclones and tornadoes more powerful. Changes in precipitation patterns, combined with increased evaporation, also contribute to more prolonged and severe droughts. This has implications for water availability, agriculture, and our local ecosystems. Additionally, climate change increases the risk of wildfire in some areas. Higher temperatures and prolonged drought conditions create favorable environments for wildfire. Dry vegetation can become more susceptible to ignition, and the fire season can extend for longer periods of time. Wildfire frequency also enhances evaporation of water and decreases ecosystem viability by destroying key root structures that retain moisture and structural landscapes. Additionally, wildfires destroy carbon-capturing plants and trees and release more heat and particulate matter into the atmosphere. Climate change also impacts sea level rise. The melting of glaciers and polar ice caps, along with the expansion of seawater as it warms, contributes to rising sea levels around the world. This can lead to increased coastal flooding, erosion, and salinity intrusion in coastal areas. Finally, climate change also impacts ocean acidification. The absorption of excess carbon dioxide by the world's oceans is causing water to become more acidic. This can harm marine life, particularly organisms such as corals, mollusks, and some plankton, impacting entire marine ecosystems. Thanks for watching. While climate change is a daunting problem, we hope that this video provided you with a better understanding of the science behind climate change and that you feel more confident introducing climate discussions into your classroom and in your school community. If you want to keep investigating any of the topics discussed in this video, we provided the links to additional resources below. If you'd like to learn more about how climate change intersects with other environmental topics, check out our additional modules on waste, water, food, plants and animals, and energy.